Soft introduction. Imagine leaving behind everything you know, your family, your homeland, your culture, to venture into a place entirely foreign to you, where your only allegiance is to a promise you made. Today, we'll dive into the riveting story of Ruth, a story of loyalty, faith, and redemption that has inspired countless generations. Grab a cup of tea or coffee, because you're about to embark on a story that's both ancient and timeless. This is the story of Ruth. Transition music. Our story begins in the land of Moab, a region east of the Jordan River. The backdrop is one of famine and hardship. A man named Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons had fled Bethlehem to seek refuge in Moab due to a devastating famine. Settling there, the family hoped for relief, a fresh start, but fate had a different course. Over the years, both of Naomi's sons married Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth. But what should have been a story of renewal quickly turned to sorrow as Naomi's husband Elimelech died, followed by the untimely deaths of both her sons. Pause. Picture the grief Naomi must have felt. Losing her husband was heartbreak enough, but to then lose both her sons, leaving her with only her Moabite daughters-in-law, must have been a burden beyond measure. It was during this time of despair that Naomi decided to return to Bethlehem, calling Moab a place of sorrow she could no longer endure. She urged Orpah and Ruth to stay behind, to return to their Moabite families and seek new lives for themselves. Naomi wanted them to be free of the burdens of accompanying an aging widow with no means of support. Slow and emotional, Orpah, after heartfelt hugs and goodbyes, decided to stay in Moab. But Ruth did something remarkable. She uttered words that resonate through history. "Do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried." Imagine the courage it took for Ruth to forsake everything she knew, her homeland, her gods, her future security, to stay by Naomi's side. These were not mere words. They were a commitment, an unshakable vow of loyalty. Transition to Bethlehem. And so the 2 women made their journey to Bethlehem. Arriving there, the townspeople were abuzz with curiosity and whispers. Was this Naomi who had left years ago? Naomi, whose name meant pleasant, now asked to be called Mara, which means bitter, as she told them the Almighty had dealt bitterly with her. But even in the shadows of loss, a glimmer of hope emerged. Rising action. It was the beginning of the barley harvest, and Ruth, taking the initiative, decided to glean in the fields to provide food for herself and Naomi. As providence, or divine intervention, would have it, Ruth ended up in the field of Boaz, a man of great wealth and standing who also happened to be a relative of Elimelech. Boaz noticed Ruth's hard work and inquired about her. When he learned who she was, he was immediately impressed by her steadfast loyalty to Naomi and her dedication. Create intrigue. Let me ask you this. Have you ever met someone who instantly recognizes your character, who sees your worth without you having to prove anything? This was Boaz's reaction to Ruth. And in an act of kindness and protection, he instructed his workers not to harm her and even allowed her to gather among the sheaves, ensuring she would have more than enough. But Ruth's story didn't stop there. Imagine for a moment Naomi's joy when Ruth returned home with an abundance of grain and recounted her day. Naomi immediately recognized the hand of God in guiding Ruth to Boaz's field. She instructed Ruth to continue working in the fields of Boaz, ensuring their safety and provision. Build tension. As the harvest season progressed, Naomi devised a bold plan, a plan with cultural and spiritual significance. She instructed Ruth to go to the threshing floor where Boaz would be that evening, to uncover his feet and lie down. This gesture was not a reckless one. It was a symbolic appeal for Boaz to act as the family's kinsman redeemer, a term referring to a relative obligated to support and sustain a family member in need. Ruth followed Naomi's guidance with humility and courage. Climactic moment. In the still of the night, Ruth approached Boaz, laying herself at his feet. Startled awake, Boaz listened as Ruth explained her actions, essentially asking him to redeem her family. Boaz, touched by her faith and boldness, declared, "The Lord bless you, my daughter. This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after younger men, whether rich or poor." However, there was a challenge. A closer relative had the first right to act as redeemer. Resolution unfolds. Determined to fulfill his role, Boaz approached this relative the very next day in the presence of witnesses. When the closer relative declined, Boaz stepped forward willingly, redeeming Naomi's family and taking Ruth as his wife. Their union was blessed, and they had a son, Obed, who would become the grandfather of King David, a lineage that would lead to Jesus Christ himself. Conclusion, uplifting tone. Think about this. Ruth, a Moabite woman, an outsider to Israel's covenant community, became part of the very lineage of Christ. Her story is a testament to the power of loyalty, love, and faith. A reminder that no matter where we come from or what we've been through, God's plan for us includes redemption and purpose. Ruth's story teaches us about the beauty of selflessness, the reward of steadfast faith, and the incredible power of divine providence. Final takeaway. So, as you go about your day, remember Ruth's story. You don't have to have it all figured out. Sometimes all it takes is faith, loyalty, and the courage to take the next step, and trust that God is guiding your path. Thanks for watching, and if you found this inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Let others experience this timeless story of redemption and loyalty. Until next time, stay faithful. Outro music fades out.